Why do we dream? We dream because the mind keeps running even when the body is resting. It takes all the unfinished reactions from the day and turns them into quick stories. The mind doesn't like empty space, so when the senses are quiet, it keeps generating images on its own. Most of what appears at night is just mental debris. The mind throws out random impressions the way the body sheds dust that alone makes up nearly everything. Then there are dreams built from unfulfilled needs you suppress during the day, and others shaped by old conditioning that still echoes in the background. Some pull up fragments from personal history, mixing memory with fantasy. And then there are the rare ones, the unusual kind where you're so open and unguarded that the mind briefly reflects something ahead of you, as if a thin door cracked open and you caught a quick glimpse of a future possibility. These exist, but they're uncommon and very rare. When you put all the categories together, 99% of dreams are still just noise. Only a tiny fraction ever carries anything beyond the mind's nightly housekeeping. Think of a day when you had several different conversations, did many tasks quickly, and never really took a moment for yourself. At night, the mind replays pieces of that because the mind carries that momentum into your slumber time. It strings together random bits and turns them into scenes that feel personal. So, you see, dreams don't necessarily mean anything deep at all. Dreams also show that the mind reacts even when nothing real is happening. You can feel fear and excitement in a dream with no actual event behind it. This reveals how automatic the mind can be. Seeing this makes daytime thoughts easier to understand and less intimidating. Dreams aren't signs or warnings, they're leftover noise. When the mind is calmer during the day, dreams tend to be lighter at night. The more you worry, the louder they get. Either way, they're simply mental activity continuing without your participation. How about a mini exercise that will take you only 1 minute to complete? Right now, notice the next thought that pops up. Don't follow it. Just label it silently as mind activity. This simple move shows you the same mechanism that appears in dreams, the mind creating stories even when nothing is happening. What is real? What feels real is usually whatever gets your attention in the moment, but that changes constantly. Thoughts come, feelings move, opinions switch, and even strong reactions disappear eventually. And because all of that changes, it can't be counted as a reliable part of your experience. Imagine you are waiting in line at a busy cafe. 1 minute you're annoyed, then you check your phone and feel distracted, then the barista cracks a joke and you're fine again. The situation hasn't changed at all, but your inner reactions keep moving. The constant part is the basic sense of being here, the awareness that notices each reaction without being shaped by it. That steady awareness doesn't jump around the way thoughts do. It's always present during stress, rest, excitement, and during boredom. It's there even when you are unsure. Because it doesn't come and go, it's the most dependable part of your experience. This is something that is already active right now, not something you have to build or improve. Most people just overlook it because the mind's activity is loud and fast, but the observing side of you is quiet and constant. It's there before, during, and after any reactions. Seeing this only requires noticing that the moving parts of experience never stay still, while the simple fact of being aware never changes. For just 30 seconds a day, try this. Pause and notice one thought. Now notice that you are aware of the thought. Let the thought pass and stay with that basic awareness for a moment. The awareness that remains is real. How do I find myself? Finding yourself is more about noticing what's already here without getting pulled into every thought the mind produces than anything else. Most people search through many different roles, goals, opinions, or personality traits, but those change all the time. What you're actually trying to find is the constant awareness that's present before those layers appear. A simple way to see this is through an ordinary moment. Imagine you're sitting with a friend and they're telling a long story. Part of you listens, part of you drifts slowly away. Some part might even react if the story is engaging enough. All of that changes from second to second, but the quiet knowing that you're here doesn't move. The mind usually insists on answers like, "I'm this kind of person," or "I'm defined by my past," but those are just moving descriptions of the character you are playing, not you. You don't disappear when your mood changes or when you forget your opinions for a moment. You find yourself by turning attention toward that undeniably simple fact: you are aware, not the thoughts or the stories. You, the awareness that's already present. It's only overshadowed by constant mental activity. You already experience this in quick moments throughout the day. When you pause before replying to someone, when you wake up but haven't started thinking yet, or when you're fully engaged in something without commentary. Those are the moments that show what you are without extra layers. The more you notice this undeniable presence, the less confusing the mind's noise becomes, and you stop trying to build an identity out of every passing thought. So try this for a minute if you'd like. Sit still for a moment. Notice any thought that appears. Now ask yourself, who is aware of this thought? Don't answer with words. Just rest in the sense of being aware. That is what you're trying to find. And guess what? It's already here. Why do I get existential dread when I see old photos of myself? Old photos can trigger existential dread because they remind you that the you in the picture isn't here anymore in the way you remember. The mind compares who you think you are now and who you imagine you're supposed to become. That creates a sort of jolt. It feels like the ground disappears under your feet for a second. Think about that time you sat with your parents and they open up a photo album, or even simpler, you look at your phone and find a picture from 5 years ago. Maybe your style or priorities were different, or you were surrounded by people who aren't part of your life anymore. The mind tries to make all those versions line up, but they don't fit as neatly as it wants them to be. That mismatch produces the uneasy feeling. The photo isn't the problem. It's the mind scrambling for a fixed identity in a life that never stays the same. Old photos also point out that all versions of you were temporary viewpoints. You can remember being that person, but you're not living from that viewpoint anymore. The mind wants something permanent to hold on to, and the moment it sees that nothing in your personal story qualifies, it reacts with dread. But the part of you looking at the photo right now isn't bound to any of those versions. The awareness noticing the image isn't younger or older. It doesn't belong to a past or future. Time only exists for the ego. The dread comes from trying to locate yourself inside the person in the picture instead of recognizing that you're the one seeing it now. Once you realize the reaction comes from the mind's habit of clinging to identity, the fear loses intensity. The photo becomes just another image. So, just find any old photo right now and look at it for a moment. Instead of evaluating it, ask, what is looking at this image? Stay with the sense of being the one who sees, without searching for answers. Notice how the unease softens when you stop trying to fit yourself into the picture. Why do I always feel like I'm waiting for my real life to start? Feeling like that often happens because the mind builds an ideal future version of you. That imagined version feels more confident and more in control. Since the picture is unrealistic, the mind keeps pushing it further ahead. You end up feeling like you are always behind. Imagine you are cleaning your kitchen. Out of nowhere, the thought appears that you should be living a more exciting or meaningful life. Nothing is wrong with the simple act of cleaning. The discomfort comes from comparing it to a fantasy that does not match reality. The fantasy always seems more impressive, so the present moment feels like a rehearsal instead of the actual experience. Another part of this feeling comes from believing that life will feel complete once certain things fall into place. Better habits, more money, or a different environment. Whatever it may be, since these conditions keep changing, you never reach the point where the mind says you have arrived. The sense of waiting becomes automatic. The important thing to notice is that the feeling of waiting comes from attention, ignoring the present moment, and chasing mental fantasies. When you notice this habit, you see that life is already happening right here, not later. You do not need to fight the mind. Simply recognize that the future version it wants you to chase is only a thought. Take a look around your space right now. Notice 3 things you can see. Notice 1 sound. Now ask, before thinking of the future, what exactly is missing right now? Stay with the question without trying to answer it. The feeling of waiting softens when you stop comparing this moment to an imagined one. Why do I have to be entertained all the time? Feeling like you need constant entertainment usually comes from the mind trying to avoid even a few seconds of unfilled space. When things get quiet, old worries or boredom start to appear, and the mind reacts by reaching for stimulation. It is just a habit created by short attention cycles and easy access to distraction. Think of a moment when you are waiting for a friend at a restaurant. You sit down and almost instantly grab your phone. Nothing unpleasant has happened. You are safe and comfortable. Yet the mind jumps in with do something. It is uncomfortable with pauses, because pauses reveal whatever is already sitting beneath the surface. Another part of this habit comes from how modern life is built. Notification streams, quick video clips, and instant replies. These create a feedback loop where the mind expects constant movement. When there is none, it feels like something is missing, even though nothing is wrong at all. Wanting entertainment all the time is about avoiding the feeling of being with your own thoughts. You only need to notice the impulse instead of acting on it immediately. No need to force silence or something like that. Over time, the pull toward entertainment becomes less automatic. You learn to enjoy simple moments again because the pressure to escape them weakens. For just 2 minutes, put your phone or device face down. Sit still and look at one object in the room. Do nothing with it. Notice the first urge to grab something for stimulation. Instead of following the urge, say, "This is just a moment." Watch the urge pass on its own. This helps you see the habit without getting pulled into it. If something in this spoke to you, you might want to take the next step. We've created a digital retreat that doesn't just describe non-duality, it's built to lead you directly into your own experience. The layout moves you from ideas into clear seeing, using simple meditations and practical pointers that cut through the extra noise. If you feel curious about that, the link is in the description. If you prefer something lighter, there is also a free guided self-inquiry on the channel. For many people, that alone is already enough.